Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 7 of Wingnuts Sopwith F1 Camel. Scale is 132. In part 6, I went on to build the wings for the aircraft, placing in the struts and the top wings, as well as filling in a couple of little gaps that were a problem in my own making, let's say. I made a mistake and I had to deal with that. In part 7, I'm going to be concentrating mostly on the undercarriage. So that's dealing with the struts and the wheels. I'm also starting the rigging process as well. Mostly again on the undercarriage, and I will be prepping and doing a little bit of the rigging work on the rear wings also. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So I'm starting off painting the underside of the bottom wings, and I'm using Tamiya's XF55 Deck Tan for this. And while that's drying, I'm moving on to the undercarriage. It's a fairly simple process to make up. First of all, the supporting bar is going in. There's a couple of location points for the bracket to push into. Just need a tiny little bit of cement to hold it there. The instructions say don't put any cement in, but it's quite difficult to build otherwise. There's this locking cap that goes on. I think it's meant to be brakes or something like that, but it goes on before you place the wheels on. I'm using Tamiya's XF7 flat red, and this is for the main colour of the wheels. For the tyres, I'm using light colour black and rubber shades tyre black, and this colour, I've spoken about it so many times, but it's an excellent colour for tyres. And if you can get a hold of some of these light colours, they're really good paints. You can airbrush them straight from the bottle if you wish, or you can just brush them like I do. They're very good. Once I was dry, I was able to put on the decals. Now, the decals are white. In the end, I didn't actually like the white colour, and I painted over them, but I'll go on about that later on. So while I've got the decals solution out, I thought I may as well put the roundels on. And this actually was a little bit of a mistake. I should have waited until I placed the rigging in, because the roundels go over the exit point of the rigging. But it wasn't a great drama. It just made it a little bit more difficult for me to do the rigging. Before I put the undercarriage on, I'm just going to be placing on the undercarriage wires or rigging that cross the undercarriage. It's easier to do it at this stage than waiting until you've attached this particular part. There's a lot of tension involved in trying to do it, and no matter how much you do it, you may end up with a little bit of slackness in the rigging. It's the nature of it. Depending on what line you choose to use for your rigging, I'll determine whether it's going to be too slack or not. So I always think it's better to do it now rather than later. That way you're not trying to maneuver your kit around, trying to get into tight spaces. So what I'm using here is Easy Mono Spider line. This is a £12 one, I think, so it's a fishing line I'm using. So I'm just testing it out here to see where it goes. This is actually the wrong position in putting the carriage in. Luckily I didn't glue it into position. And then it's onto the rear wings, and I'm just threading through the rigging that runs down the fuselage onto the wings. So you can see it just loose here, and I'm just getting it in place, ready to tighten things up at the back end. And once I'm happy with it, I'm using some locking tweezers just to hold each part tight, then adding a little bit of super glue to secure it all into position. So all it's doing is running through little holes that were made earlier through the wings, through the rudder, put the line in, and then pull it tight. Then it's back to the undercarriage and placing it in its proper position now. There's two locations at the back, then putting the two struts in first of all, then laying the front two struts onto the fuselage. Now, sods law, when I lifted this up to place on, I managed to snap off the rigging. So I had to cut it all off and redo it. Sod's law, these things happen. So I'm having to put the rigging on as when the undercarriage is in place. But at least you can get to see both ways of doing it. So what I'm doing here is just creating an anchor point first of all, and just securing it with a little bit of super glue, and I'm just going to let that rest until it fully sets before stretching it over. So I'm stretching it over now, doing it gently because obviously I don't want to pull it out completely. And the anchor points for this will be inside the supporting brace, running over the axles. And then I'll just use my locking tweezers just to hold it in place while it dries. And this will be secure again with a little bit of super glue, and just pull taut slightly. And once it's all done, just snip off any excess, which also there's going to be, and then that's it completed. So it's okay, there's a little bit of slackage there, but I can live with that. And that's one of the dangers of doing the rigging actually on the aircraft. So it's back to the wheels now, and this is me changing the colour, and I'm using Revit Aquacolor 99 aluminium. Now the reason why I changed it was that, well, I just didn't like the white, it looked too harsh, so I just put in the metal looking colour. Maybe not accurate, but for me it's better. So this is where I'll actually end part 7. There's quite a lot to do. Got a bit of the rigging done, which was a nice start. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other videos? There may be something there that you like. If you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and you'll be updated not only on this build but all my future builds. Hit that like button and leave a comment, and don't forget to share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.